What's up, family? Welcome to Mini Bytes session 42. And today's theme is when are weaknesses strengths? My name is Erin McCluskey, and I'm a mindset and performance coach. If you'd like to learn more about the work that I do, or if you would like to reach out to me directly, you can visit my website. There's a little contact form there. Learn a little bit more about this work. My website is www.erinjewelcoaching.com. That's three words in one. Erin, ErinJewellcoaching, erinjewelcoaching.com. So today's theme is about when are weaknesses strengths. So this was inspired by a few things. Let's see, inspired by recent conversations where certain individuals were sort of holding back on sharing stories that they felt would quote unquote expose them or expose imperfections about them. And I'm saying this is conversations with others, but actually I've been in the same exact place myself. See, a lot of my life I've spent sort of hiding what I believe to be any imperfections about me, which eventually manifested into some pretty unhealthy behaviors that, basically got to a point where the benefits outweighed the risks. And it was time for me to really get honest. And so that inspired today's theme of when weaknesses are strengths. So we're going to talk about when and why weaknesses can be and are strengths. And I will give the example of addiction. This is something that I've been talking about more and more in my videos. This is part of my story, and it's a beautiful part of my story because recognizing my journey with addiction and embracing my journey with addiction has inspired me to first and foremost get clean and also to get honest with myself, where I'm at, the work that I love. I mean, it's essentially snowballed into this life of contentment and peace that I knew existed, but I never thought possible for me. And so some people view addiction as a weakness. And I, in fact, felt the same way once upon a time. I thought alcoholics made a choice to be alcoholics, and I thought addicts made a choice to be addicts, and I thought that people who were addicted to drugs and alcohol were essentially, essentially kind of less than. They made the choice, they found them, they made their beds, they lie in it, and that was kind of the end of it. And I kind of wrote these people off as having this weakness. Well, it turns out, and they say this in the world of recovery, that the addict is last to know. And I, as an addict, was certainly last to know that I, in fact, am an addict. And so it's really kind of funny because it was in that moment of recognizing that I had this weakness of being an addict that inspired this inner strength to kind of shine through in a way that it never could before because of the addiction. And so in this case, the weakness of addiction inspired me to get honest about a lot of things in my life that I wasn't really comfortable being honest about. It inspired me to make amends with certain people and to apologize in certain cases, and also to forgive. Not only forgive others for actions and behaviors, but most importantly, to forgive myself for the part I played. See, we live in a world where, and it's changing, but we live in a world where it's pretty much like not okay to talk about our weaknesses or our imperfections, right? Because, and these things are in quotes because it's all so relative and we all have the same stuff at the end of the day, but we live in this world where it's not okay to talk about these things. So we kind of keep them down and we kind of suppress them and we protect them and we safeguard them. And then if it comes up in conversation, we can get really upset and really want to hold on even tighter and protect them even more. And we think we're doing a good thing and we think we're doing what's best for ourselves when we do this, but when in fact we're actually feeding the weakness and we're not taking advantage of a weakness and turning it into a strength. So weaknesses are strengths. Weaknesses, again in quotes, and I'm not saying I currently believe addiction and alcoholism are a weakness. I actually believe that addiction and alcoholism are a disease. However, as an example, weaknesses inspire us. They inspire us to tap into our gifts. They inspire us to be even more in service to others. They inspire us to look in the mirror and make a choice to see ourselves with more compassionate remembrance, to look at ourselves with more compassion and more mercy. And, as I begin to wrap this up, tapping into more of the faith-based side of this, weaknesses, acknowledgement, and admission of our weaknesses actually allow the powers that be, in my case, my God, to come in and work magic in my life and to give me mercy and strength to do the things that I'm here to do. So when I hold on to these weaknesses and I keep them close to me and I don't share about them and I don't talk about them, well, then they're not strengths. But when I talk about them and when I put them out there and when I own them as part of the imperfectly perfect being that I am, that's when the magic happens. I love you all until the next time.